Hare Krishna. So, welcome to Corporate Bhagavad Gita reading program. Um, there are prayers on my screen. You can repeat with me. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaptantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shukta Patakamadam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamritam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितम हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां भावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, welcome to Corporate Bhagavad Gita. We are discussing from the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In this particular chapter, two topics till we discussed. First one was Arjuna asked this question that what is better, to worship the impersonal Brahman or to do devotional service, that is bhakti. Krishna says to worship impersonal Brahman is very difficult. It is very troublesome. So he's very troublesome. So it's better, he says, you do devotional service. And then he says devotional service means you worship Krishna, devote all your activities to him. Fix your mind upon him, and you will live in Krishna without a doubt. You live in Krishna without a doubt. Now, fixing our mind on something requires a lot of effort, right? Giving attention for a moment is fine, for a few minutes is fine, but then for a long period of time, giving attention, it becomes very difficult, isn't it? So, Krishna knows our problem. Krishna knows our problem. So he says, if you're not able to fix your mind, if you cannot fix your mind, then you follow the regulatory principles of Bhakti Yoga. There are steps of Bhakti Yoga, 9 processes of Bhakti Yoga. Under the direction, guidance of a guru, you follow. You do abhyasa. Abhyas means practice. So when one follows Bhakti Yoga, he follows a particular lifestyle. So not everyone can follow such a lifestyle of a Bhakti Yoga. It has to be a sattvic lifestyle, pure lifestyle. Not everyone can follow that. So Krishna knows their problem also. So he says, if you cannot follow the sadhana bhakti, then you work for me. Basically, we do service for Krishna by using our resources, our resources, or the capital that we generate, the money that we make. With that, we can put it in Krishna's service to spread Krishna consciousness, to serve Krishna in his temple, for his festival, like that. So that's how one works for Krishna. But does everyone work for Krishna? No. So Krishna knows that, yeah, if you are unable to work in that position, then you be detached to your work and try to do selfless duty. In doing selfless duty, you will advance. And he says, if you cannot, any question? Anyone asking any questions? And he said, if you cannot even do this, then you cultivate knowledge. Try to gather knowledge. Knowledge from the Upanishads, knowledge from the various sadhus. Understand the nature of this world. And then Better than knowledge is meditation. Do meditation. Even better than meditation is to be detached from the fruits of action, to be little selfless. That helps in advancing in spiritual life. If we detach, then we become peaceful. And when we become peaceful, we can focus on, we can increase our spiritual life. That is what is the interesting part. Okay. So we'll go to 13th shloka. Now here a bhakti yogi, he he develops certain qualities. How to know that one who has fixed his mind on Krishna or one who's in process of um, following in the sadhana bhakti of Krishna, what kind of qualities come? So that's the discussion from here till yeah, till the 20th verse. Yes, till here, from here till 20th verse, all these qualities are there. So we'll get into it. Hmm? If you have any questions, comments, you can always interrupt and uh, you can ask. Hmm? अद्वेष्ट सर्वभूतानां मैत्र करुण एव च निर्मोह निरहंकार सम दुख सुख शमी संतुष्ट सततम योगी यतात्मा दृढ़ निश्चय मयि अर्पितो मनोबुद्धिर यो मद भक्त समय प्रिय. Yo mad bhakta samay priya. Such a bhakta is very priya for me. Priya means I like such a bhakta with these qualities. What is this? Adveshta sarva bhutanam. Adveshta. Dvesha. Dvesha means envy. So one is not envy. When you put a in front, it becomes not. So not envy towards all living beings. Sarva bhutanam. Maitra karuna evata. Karuna. There is friendship with everyone and there's karuna, there is a compassion for their well-being, material and spiritual both. Nirmamo, nirahankara. Nirmama means mama means mine. So such kind of thought is not there. Meaning not mine, this is not mine, it is going to be there for some time with me. So one understands the real position of all the possessions, resources, properties that one may have, that it is only for some time only that I have control over them, but in reality they belong all to Krishna. Nira ahankara, without false ego. Sama dukha sukha shami. Sama dukha, equal in distress and happiness. Whether one be unhappy or happy, one is equal. Samatva. Santushta satatam yogi. He's satisfied. He's a yogi. He's focused on his yoga process. Yatatma drid nishchaya. He's determined. Mai arpito mano buddhir. And he's investing all his mind and intelligence in Krishna. Such a person is very, very dear to Krishna. Very straightforward. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities. How to be a friend to all living entities? Can we talk about it? What is your thought process? How to be friend? First of all,
Forgiveness.
is it possible to be a friend to all living entities? We are already seeing some wars going on. Wars don't happen between friends, right? It's like enemy and all.
Yeah, most likely with
Hmm.
like-minded people.
Okay. But Krishna says be friend with all living entities. Now, how
All
is
living
that
entities.
possible? We can't go against what Krishna says. Now. Okay, we'll see what it actually means. Okay, not to think himself a proprietor. Proprietor means this is mine. I own this, which is fine. But we should not think that I own this forever. This particular land that is on my name already existed before I took birth. It will exist even after I leave this planet. So for only temporary time we are there, and we should not say that, oh, I am the ultimate proprietor or the owner of this land or something. We should not have that feeling. We should know that this belongs to Krishna. For some time I have acquired the owner of it, and I will use it in Krishna's service. Is free from false ego. False ego means to think that person is the identity is not with the body but with the soul, the atma, who is equal in both happiness and distress. Whether in happiness or distress, a yogi is not disturbed. So he is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, engaged in devotional service with determination. His mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So very interesting points here. We'll take the example of Vidura. You have heard about Vidura?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm. So all devotees of Krishna are, like that. But we'll take example of Vidura, because what happened is Vidura's elder brother is okay. This is Sanjaya
Yes.
speaking to Dhritarashtra.
Dhritarashtra.
Ah,
Yep.
okay. Mhm. So Vidura's elder brother is whom? Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra's
Dhritarashtra.
son is Duryodhan, and
Yeah.
Duryodhan was not listening. He was forcing this war. So Vidura, he gave good counsel to Dhritarashtra and he gave good counsel to Duryodhan, whether they liked it or not. So
Mm-hmm.
irrespective of whether they are like-minded, not like-minded, and all, he was neutral to both of them, hmm? And he was
Yeah.
well-wishing to both of them. So that is how he was friend to all. Secondly, he was not envious. Oh, my brother is the king and all that. No, he was always taking a helpful position, and he didn't think himself to be a proprietor. He was the minister. But whatever was under him, he was not thinking, oh, this is what I own or something. This is for the kingdom. This is all he was thinking. And then he was equal in both happiness and distress. So in this scene, what happened is Vidura told to Duryodhan that Duryodhan, don't take up this war. You will get killed. Duryodhan got angry and he insulted Vidura in front of his elder brother.
Yep.
And Vidura was not disturbed by it. And he said, fine, if you don't need me, he said, I won't fight also. So he kept his bow and arrow and he went away. He walked out. So he was not distressed. He was not sad by the whole thing. He was aware and he was tolerant, always satisfied, self control, engage in devotional service. So he would engage in devotional service, bhakti towards Krishna. It is said that when Krishna came as a peace messenger, he stayed at Vidura's home because Vidura was his well-wisher and devotee both. And Vidura's wife was so overwhelmed with Krishna that she, instead of giving banana, she gave the peel of the banana to eat. And Krishna ate that. So their mind was so focused on Krishna that they even forgot how to serve him. So I just took one example. Like this, we can take every other example of a devotee, and Krishna will say, how dear is Vidura. So, uh, Vidura, right? Maitreya, Vidura, yeah. So Vidura was very dear to Krishna. That is there. So let's get to the point. Coming again to the point of pure devotional service, the Lord is describing transcendental qualities of a pure devotee in these two verses. A devotee is never disturbed in any circumstances, nor he is envious of anyone, nor does a devotee becomes his enemy's enemy. He thinks this person is acting as my enemy due to my own past mistakes, so it is better to suffer than to protest. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-8 it is said, Tattenu kampam su samikshamano bunjana evam kritam vipakam. Whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty, he thinks that it is Lord's mercy upon him. He thinks it is Lord's desire. So, I should have suffered greater than this, but I am suffering only half of it. He thinks, thanks to my past deeds, I should suffer far and far greater than I am suffering now. So it is by mercy of the Supreme Lord that I am not getting at all the punishment I am due. I am just getting a little by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is always calm, quiet, patient, despite many distressful conditions. A devotee is also kind to everyone, even to his enemy. Nirmama. Nirmama means the devotee does not attach much importance to the pain and trouble pertaining to the body. Because he perfectly knows that he is not the material body, he does not identify with the body. Therefore, he is freed from the conception of false ego and is equipoised in both happiness and distress. So, when one has this conception that I am separate from the body, then one can, overcome the happiness and distress that the body gives. Like, we may travel in a train, and generally Indian trains are like full packed jam, right? Too many people. But if we get into our play and we sit in our seat, do we mind all that jam packed and traffic? Not necessarily. Why? Because the back of the mind we know, okay, after 2 hours I have to get down. My station is just 2 hours. Why to be so much disturbed by this crowd and noise and all that? Isn't it? Similarly, if one is too much identified with the body, then for him happiness and distress he will get swayed by it. But when one is not attached to the body, he's samatva, then happiness and distress both he'll tolerate. Just like Vidura, he tolerated. He's tolerant and is satisfied with whatever comes by the grace of Supreme Lord. He does not endeavor much to achieve something with great difficulty. Therefore, he is always joyful. So, why people today in this world are not very joyful? The reason is they are trying to achieve something with great difficulty. So much of effort is going on to achieve something, and so much of difficulty one takes to achieve that. Therefore, one is not so joyful in today's life. It's all troublesome only. He's completely perfect mystic because he's fixed in instruction received from the spiritual master, and because his senses are controlled, he's determined. Okay, he's determined because his senses are controlled. He's not swayed by false argument, but no one can lead him from fixed determination of devotional service. He's full conscious of Krishna is the eternal Lord, so that no one can disturb him. All these qualifications enable him to fix his mind and intelligence. So all this is required for fixing our mind and intelligence on Krishna. Such a statement of devotional standard of devotional service is undoubtedly very rare. This is a very high stage. But a devotee is situated in that stage by following the four regulative principles. The regulative principles is of devotional service. So if one follows the instruction of the Guru, practices Bhakti Yoga as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, to hear about Krishna, to chant the glories of Krishna, to remember Krishna, like this and other 9 processes, when one does under the guidance of the Guru, then he is fixed in devotional service, and then he becomes very dear to the Lord. Furthermore, the Lord says such a devotee is very dear to him, for the Lord is always pleased with all his activities and full Krishna consciousness. Okay. Yasma nodite loko loka no dvijate sayha harshamsha bhayodvegar mukta yasasame priyam. No dvijate, agitated. Loka no dvijate sayha. So no dvijate is used twice.
What is
What does it mean? That he by whom no one is put into difficulty. He doesn't put anyone into difficulty. That is one quality. Second is, he is not disturbed by anyone. If anyone is putting him into difficulty, he is not disturbed by it. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he was not at all disturbed because he was doing smarana. Who is equipoised in happiness and distress? Again, the similar point. This point is coming again and again. Equipoised in happiness and distress. So many times, happiness and distress just sway us. India-Pakistan match happens, cricket match happens, and then what we hear? If somebody loses, then many television sets are broken and all that, isn't it? So one is being swayed, forcibly carried by too much of happiness, too much of distress. Okay, I'll just mute. Okay. So one is carried in, so much by the happiness and distress. So one should not get too much carried. Little bit of enjoyment is fine. Little bit of sadness is fine. But, too much of carriedness is like problematic. So one has to be equipoised. Fear and anxiety. So one is equipoised even in fear and anxiety. This is a difficult thing to achieve, right? Because there is fear in this world. Fear of everything. Disease, death, financial loss, health loss, relationship loss. These fears are there. Anxiety is there. Money, investment, all these things are there. But one who is balanced in both, such a person is dear to him. Again, the same Krishna says, dear to me. Same priya. A few of a devotee's qualifications are further being described. No one is put into anxiety, difficulty, fearfulness, dissatisfaction by such a devotee. He won't purposefully do all these things. Like Ravana would do, purposefully, putting people into difficulty, anxiety, fearfulness, and dissatisfaction. Ravana kind of person would do. But a devotee, he would not do like that. Since a devotee is kind to everyone, he does not act in such a way to put others in anxiety. At the same time, if others try to put a devotee in anxiety, he is not disturbed. He doesn't give anxiety, neither he takes anxiety. If somebody is forcing anxiety on him, he will tolerate it, but he won't retaliate. It is by the grace of Lord that he is so practiced that he is not disturbed by any outward disturbance. Actually, because the devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness and engaged in devotional service, such material circumstances cannot move him. Generally, a materialistic person becomes very happy when there is something for his sense gratification and his body, and when he sees that others have something for their sense gratification and he hasn't, he is sorry and envious. Why others got from, I won't say like that, but why he got that and I didn't get? So one is like upset with the whole thing. That is childish, right? Children do like that. Why he got, I should also get, isn't it? But if adult does it, then it's still childish only. So one should be equipoised and again should be happy for the person who is getting it and should be satisfied with what he has. All this is necessary. Why? Because it will keep us away from the distraction. and one will be distraction of this world. This world is always distracting us. Some kind of news, whatever, it's always distracting. But all these qualities now they help in overcoming this distraction. And then one is overcoming all that, then he can easily focus his mind on Krishna. Otherwise, if mind is distracted, then even chanting Hare Krishna would like be a burden. It will be a painful thing to do. Okay. When he's expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in the state of fear, and when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes rejected. A devotee who is always transcendental to these disturbances is very dear to Krishna. Any question or comment at this point? Okay. अनपेक्षा सूची दक्ष उदासीन गतवतः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी योग भक्त समेत. My devotee who is not dependent on ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. Money may be offered to a devotee, but he should not struggle to acquire it automatically. By the grace of Supreme, grace of Krishna, money comes to him and he is not agitated. This is a experience of all the devotees, that when they are in need of money or something, then sorry, just lost. Yeah. So the experience is like, whenever devotee needs, then he sees that it has been satisfied. Some or the other he gets money, some or the other. And even if he doesn't get, then like he's still okay, fine, this is what Krishna desired. So he doesn't get disturbed by all these things. Naturally, your devotee takes bath at least twice a day and rises early in the morning for devotion service. Twice a day bath, early rising, these are all troublesome things. It has some pain in it. But this helps in our spiritual life. Thus, he is naturally clean both inward and outwardly. A devotee is always expert because he fully knows the essence of all activities of life and is convinced of the authoritative scriptures. A devotee never takes the part of a particular party. Therefore, he is carefree. A devotee is expert in scriptures. He knows the essence. So he is not disturbed by so many fighting that is going on the name of philosophy. A devotee never takes part in a particular party. A devotee is kind of neutral. Therefore, he is carefree. He is never pained because he is the free from all designations. He knows that this body is a designation. So if there is some bodily pain, he is free. The pure devotee does not endeavor for anything which is against the principle of devotion service. For example, constructing a big building requires energy, and a devotee does not take such business if it does not benefit him by advancing his devotion service. He may construct a temple for Krishna, and for that he may take all kinds of varieties of anxiety, but he does not construct a big house for his personal relations. So if the purpose is more than him, and if the yeah. So the last point, right? He doesn't construct a temple for the Lord, and that will take kind of anxiety. If it is a very necessary project, then he may do that. If it is very necessary, it is required for preaching, it's required for that place, then he will do that. Otherwise, he won't take it for his personal reasons. Okay. Any question, comment? See, here Krishna is all talking about Shuddha Bhakta. When we are practicing, we have to be careful. We cannot act like a Shuddha Bhakta, but we need to follow. Follow in the example, do what they have done. But there are certain things we will not be able to do. That is also there. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he was in so much remembrance of Krishna that, he was put in so much difficulties, but he was samatvam, he was equal, and he was saved by the Lord. We in such situations should run away. If we get someone who tortures us like that, we should try to run away. Prahlad Maharaj didn't run. That doesn't mean that we should not run. Okay. यो न रिष्यति न द्वेषति न सोचति न कांक्षति शुभाशुभ परित्यागी शुभ अशुभ परित्यागी भक्ति माम यह समय प्रिय. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, nor who neither laments nor desires, who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. So there are moments of rejoicement, there are moments of grief. A Shuddha Bhakta may not do this, but a practicing Bhakta, he should not get carried away. Some rejoice is fine, some enjoyment is fine. It should not happen that he is enjoying for days and months and years. No. Grieves. So many things happen, upheaval in the life of a devotee or in common persons also. You see a lot of upheaval happening. So one may get sad if things don't go his way. Okay. And one may, think, okay, let me do this, that, everything. So many things one may think. But a devotee, what he does is that he doesn't go overboard in his lamentation and distress. Like sometimes we see, somebody in the family dies or something, then a family relative is very, very sad, and this will go on beyond the 13 days, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So such a lamentation is not recommended. Okay.
So it is carried for 1 year. Actually, like so they'll not celebrate any festivals and
Yeah. See, that is
they'll not
a
then
kind
they'll
of a
not even.
ritual or tradition that followed in the family. The grieving period is, I think, 10 days, 13 days.
Yes.
After that,
And
one has to come back and become equipoised, understanding the real nature of this world.
okay,
Carried
because
away
I've
means,
seen
sorry.
People. So from that family, like they'll not take part in any.
Yeah, for 1 year they may not do,
Yeah.
but again, 1 year only, right? After that, one has to take part. One should not
Yes.
go on lamenting. One should not be sad forever, forever, forever. The thing is, the
Yes.
nature of this world is that there will be loss, there will be grief, there will be happiness, right? So if
Actually,
so,
like
Krishna is saying,
say suppose,
yeah,
uh, so this is more observed in case of women. So if their
yeah,
husband passed away, so
exactly, yeah.
they will not, like, for their uh, remaining lifetime, they'll not take part in any
No, see,
good
there are some
activities.
traditions. There
Uh,
are some traditions regarding that thing.
because even if they come out of that grief, the
Uh,
society will not
yeah,
allow
see,
them
there,
to.
there are some traditions. Those
Yeah.
traditions have to be followed. There's no doubt in it. Those traditions have to be followed.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, this lamentation, meaning this sadness,
Mm-hmm.
should not be on the bodily platform.
Yeah.
The real nature of this world is that we are not going to be together forever. So one should be able to accept that fact. Okay, first point, one should be able to accept that fact. And second thing is, human life's objective is not just the material life, but the spiritual life. What happens when too much of lamentation is done, right? Then the spiritual life decreases. One is not
Yes.
able to, continue spiritually. One gives
Yes.
up. That what Krishna is saying, my devotee doesn't do. Some lament, definitely he does, but then he stands back and does his duty, his dharma. Like, Arjuna, he lost his son, right? Ashwadhama. So,
Mm.
Ashwadhama, no, Abhimanyu, sorry.
Abhimanyu.
He
Yeah.
lost his son Abhimanyu. That was definitely a big grief. But the next day he got up again, he went to fight, right?
Mm.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Traditions are fine, like you talked about a wife and a losing a husband and all that, that these are traditions, that is there. I'm not talking about tradition. This is a pure devotee. What he does, he follows the tradition,
Mm.
but he doesn't laments forever, 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 over bodily connection. He comes out of it. That's what Krishna is saying. He's samatva. He's equipoised. Does it make sense?
Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah. So Vedas give traditions, okay, but at this point, Krishna is talking about the devotee.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? Those who are already on spiritual path, right? They become equipoised. Those who are not on spiritual path, they should follow whatever the Vedas are saying, so that they can come out of it. See, this 13 days, 1 year, all these are required so that the person can come out of it one day. The aim is not to remain in that state, but the aim is to come out.
Okay.
The pain is too much, right? The pain is too much. That is understandable.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a very nice story. A mother lost her son. So she came to know there is Buddha here nearby. So this story happened at the time when Buddha was there. And she came to know
Mm-hmm.
Buddha is very powerful personality. So she went to Buddha and said, "Can you revive my son?" Then he said, "Okay, you bring you bring grain from a house that has never experienced any death of a member." She said, "Okay, fine, I'll go." And like that, she went into every house in the village. And then every house was saying, "No, my this person died, no, my that died, my this relationship died, and etc. etc. This person died and all that." At the end, she said, "There is no house like that."
Mm.
Hmm? That I could get grain from. But by going and visiting everyone, she said, "Yeah, everyone has this." So she understood this is a fact. So then she accepted, and then she came out of her lament. You understand this point?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what Krishna is saying. A devotee is equipoised.
Okay.
He's equipoised even in happiness also. It is not just always lament and all. No, in happiness also. He's not. See, he who rejoices nor grieves. Neither rejoices means he is not carried away by that happiness. Once, I saw a person on the road and he was acting very crazily. He was saying, "Yeah, I got it, I got it." Then I said, I felt like, was something happened to him or what? Because he was shouting. Then I said, "What happened?" Then he told me he got a business. He got
Mm.
some business project to make and he was successful in doing that. So fine, little bit of rejoicement is okay. But too much of rejoicement, what happens?
It's again connected to the material enjoyment, right,
Yeah,
Prabhu?
you
Like,
come out of it.
so
Yeah. So you see this these are uh, these are football matches, and people become so crazy. They will burn the street, they will put fire,
Mm.
they'll destroy everything. For what reason? My team won or my team lose, isn't it?
Mm.
This is not any strike or something. This what happened. There's a football match going on, and the people become crazy. So this is what Krishna is saying. You should not get carried away by this. These people get carried away. My team lost. My team won, and they'll burn everything. They'll either burn everything in happiness or they'll burn everything in distress. You have heard this news, right? This is not new thing. India Pakistan match.
Yeah.
So many things happen. So many
Yes.
times
Yes. Right.
TVs are broken and all that. Huh? So Krishna is saying, come out of it. Whether you rejoice or grieve. See the reality in the world. Who won? We say we won, we won. Did we really win? No. The 11 players won. Did we get 1 rupee out of it? They got crores of rupees. Isn't it?
Mm. Yes, bro.
So this is the thing. When we get too much carried away, we forget what is reality. And then common people are common people. But a devotee, a yogi, if he rejoices, if he then what will happen is he will neglect his spiritual life. Like the famous example is of Vishwamitra, right? What happened here? A very beautiful. He was doing tapasya, and Indra thought he's taking my position, so he sent a very beautiful woman, and only he heard the ankle bells of her ankle bells, chan chan chan
Mm.
chan.
Mm.
That was enough for him to open his eyes to see who has come. After that, what happened? After that, what happened? He stopped his tapasya and he got a girl child from her, right?
Mm.
Vishwamitra, he stopped his tapasya and he got a girl child from him. And then he understood, oh, I stopped my tapasya for this reason. Then he got angry on her and, he again started doing tapasya. Then
Mm.
another woman was sent, Ramba.
Okay.
Then he said, I already have one experience. So he burnt her.
Okay.
She burnt her. Now he got angry. A sadhu should not get angry. Again problem happened. Again he had to do this tapasya.
Mm.
So this is what happens. When one gets carried away, then one neglects spiritual life. So these are to be understood from that perspective. Okay, how it will lead to a neglect of spiritual life. Okay,
Mm.
yeah. In that direction, one has to be equipoised. A, a, a pure devotee is neither happy nor distressed over material gain or loss. See, this neither happy nor distressed, it means that if he's a pure devotee, he will follow this. Okay, he will not be happy and he will be this. But one who is sadhaka, one who is practicing, right, some happiness he will definitely get and some distress he will definitely get, but he won't get carried away by it for a long time. He will cut it down. 1 hour party, that's it. After 1 hour he is done. Like there is a very nice saying by Mahendra Singh Dhoni,
Mhm.
about consistency. I will share that. Right now, I'm not able to remember what he said, but it was very interesting thing he said. I'll share that.
Okay.
Hmm. So, what in general, what he meant was that he said every match is a new match. Every cricket match that I play is a new match. Just because I won World Cup yesterday, today it doesn't mean I can, I can think I will win this. No, I have to fight for every match. Like that. So that is what samatvam it is.
Okay.
Yeah. If one loses anything which is very dear to him, he does not lament. This is a pure devotee. He does not lament. He is like carefree. Practicing devotee, he will lament, but he will come back in the position of unlament. Similarly, if he does not get what he desires, he is not distressed. He is transcendental to the in the face of all kinds of auspiciousness, inauspiciousness, and sinful activity. He is prepared to accept all kinds of risk for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Nothing is an impediment in the discharge of his devotional service. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. Like Vidura, he was insulted. He was insulted, but did he give up his devotional service? No. He only said, okay, I won't fight. Then he went for pilgrimage.
Mm.
Then he came back. He met Krishna again. Like that. Okay. समो शत्रु च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु समसंग विवर्जितः तुल्य निंदा स्तुतिर मौनि संतुष्टेन केनचित् अनिकेत सितिर्मतिर् भक्ति मां मे प्रिय नरः. See, bhakti man. There is Shakti man. There is He man.
Bhakti.
There is
Yeah.
Superman. There is Spider Man. There is Batman. We are not interested in all this, man. What we are interested to become? Bhakti man.
Yes.
Correct? And what is the quality? These are the qualities that is needed. That he is equal to friends and enemies. He is equal to friend and enemies. He is equipoised in honor. See, this samatvam quality is again and again discussed.
Mm.
Heat and cold. Now winter is going on. Just because winter is going on, would we stop going out? No, right? We'll tolerate.
No. Yes.
Like that. Just because there is heat, should we stop cooking? No. We'll continue our duty. Happiness and distress. Fame, infamy. Who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything. Who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, who's engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. A devotee is always free from all bad associations. Sometimes one is praised and sometimes one is defamed. And that is the nature of the human society. See, we need to understand the nature of this human society.
Mm.
Sometimes we'll be praised, sometimes we'll be defamed. In companies, we see, right? Sometimes the leader is being glorified, he's been given gift, year of the award, right? Best employee. After later on, he is removed.
Laid off. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the nature of the world. Okay, that is the nature of the human society. A devotee is always transcended to artificial fame and infamy. So you need to understand this fame and all this is artificial. If we are given an artificial gold, will we secure it something? No, right? Instead, this is artificial, imitation gold. So many shops are there, na? Today, imitation gold. 1
Yes.
mg, something like that, right? What is it? 100 mg or what? 10 mg gold, something.
R gold, something like that.
Ah, yeah. A lot of people flock there, right? In Diwali and all that, a lot of people will flock over there and they'll try to buy this, that. But one who's getting married, will they go there? No, they'll go for the real gold, right? Isn't it? They won't go for the artificial one. They'll go for the real gold. So we should go for the real gold, the real fame we should go for. And this artificial fame, infamy, distress, happiness, this thing will be there. Like recently this Indian cricket team, they won a World Cup. After that, they are losing only, right?
Yes.
Isn't it? So this fame, defame thing is going on. That's the nature of this world. One should be not getting carried away by it. He's very patient. He does not speak of anything, but the topics about Krishna. He's focused on Krishna. He's focused on spiritual life. Now we are talking about Bhakti man, not Superman, Batman. He's focused on Bhakti. and therefore he is called silent. Silent means he's not talking. No, it's not like that. Silent means he's only talking about Krishna. Silent does not mean that one should not speak. Silent means one should not speak nonsense. One should speak what that is essential. Most essential is speak about Krishna. A devotee is happy in all conditions. Sometimes he may get palatable foods. Sometimes good food he may get. Sometimes he may not get, but he's satisfied. Nor does he care for any residential facility. Hmm? Meaning whatever residential facility he could get by his money and all, he's satisfied with that. He's not getting like too much. He's not saying okay. Sometimes people they change houses like anything. I didn't love their house, I'll go there. That is all very disturbing. One should be satisfied. He may sometimes live underneath a tree. He may sometimes live in a palatial building. He's attracted to neither. Like Vidura, he lived in a very palatial palace. But when he found like there is of no use, this Duryodhana is of no is
Mm.
not taking his advice, and Dhritarashtra is stuck with his attachment. He said, "Okay, I'll go to forest," and he started living in forest. Actually, he's called fixed because he's fixed in his determination and knowledge. He's fixed in his devotional service. He's fixed in his bhakti, and that's what attracts Krishna. In spite of all these difficulties, that person is fixed in his bhakti. Like Draupadi was insulted. She begged from 5 husbands. She begged from Vidura. She begged from Dhritarashtra. She begged from Bhishma. Such strong people she begged. Nobody came to help. At last she went to Krishna. Then Krishna came. Unlimited sari. We may find some repetition in the description. So there is some repetition in description. Heat, cold. But it is to emphasize the fact that devotee must acquire all these qualifications. Okay, repetition sometimes is considered uh, a mistake. Like some student in 10th standard in answer paper, they will repeat just to write a big paragraph. They'll repeat the same point again and again.
Yes.
So that's a mistake, right? But in Bhagavad Gita, some things are repeated. Like we saw in last 3-4 verses, this heat and cold and distress and happiness is always repeated. The reason for here it is not a mistake. It is to emphasize that a devotee must acquire this. He must come to the point of samatva. He should not be carried away by distress and failure and happiness and success and sense gratification. He must not. So Krishna is repeating it in 4 times. As a good teacher, a teacher will repeat the most important thing, isn't it?
Yes, bro.
I had a teacher who would repeat and keep on repeating every class, and and we would not forget only after that. He was so good in it. Harava bhakta sukuto mahad gunat. One who is not a devotee has no good qualification. One who wants to be recognized as a devotee should develop all these good qualifications that have been spoken. Of course, he does not externally endeavor to acquire these qualifications. So when one tries to acquire this qualification, one should not separately try it. But what one should do is one should engage himself in Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. In that 9 processes, deeper and deeper and deeper. Then automatically all these qualities they come. The devotional service automatically helps him to develop them. He doesn't have to separately do that. By the activities of devotional service, one is able to do that. Okay. Last verse. ये तो धर्मामृतम इदम यथोक्तम परुपाशते श्रद्धाना मत परमा भक्तस्ते तीवा मे प्रिय. Ativa. Ativa. Ativa means most priya. Extra. I like that. I like this verse. What? Those who follow the imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves in faith, making me the supreme goal. So these devotees, they will follow bhakti yoga with full faith. They will never get disturbed, and they will make whom the Krishna the goal. They are very very dear to him. Arjuna is that example. For him, Krishna is the goal. Draupadi, Krishna is the goal. Vidura, Krishna is the goal. Narad Muni, Krishna is the goal. The Pandavas, Krishna is the goal. Bhishma, he fought also for Krishna. He wanted to make Krishna fight. So he fought so hard with Arjuna that ultimately Krishna lifted up the wheel to fight. Famous painting is there, no? Famous painting. Krishna said, I won't fight. But to save his devotee, Arjuna, he lifted the wheel to kill Bhishma. And Bhishma forced Krishna to do this. Okay? The goal is Krishna. In this chapter, from verse 2 to through the end, from many Mai Avesha Mano Yamam, fixing the mind, through Ye to Dharmamita Vidam, this religion of eternal engagement, the Supreme Lord has explained the process of transcendental service for approaching Him. Such processes are very dear to Him. So, all this is a process. Those, wait. Let me see. One thing. See, these are all process that he said. Fix your mind. If you cannot do that, do sadhana bhakti. If you cannot do that, work for him. If you cannot do that, cultivate knowledge, do meditation, renounce the result. This is the process. Progressive stages of devotional service. From lowest stage to topmost stage. Here it is indirect, and in here it is direct.
Okay.
Okay. This all he talked about. Where are we? Such processes are very dear to Krishna, and he accepts as a person engaged in them. The question of who is better, one who's engaged in path of impersonal Brahman and one who's engaged in personal service of Krishna in devotional service, Krishna has replied explicitly that devotional service is best, and he has expanded till verse number 20. In other words, in this chapter, it is decided that through good association, one develops attachment for pure devotional service. Do bhakti, and to do bhakti, accept a bona fide spiritual master. And from him, do hearing, chanting, and observing the regulatory principles of bhakti, devotional service with faith. Do it with faith, not just like, okay, it is done in my family, that's why I'm doing it mechanically. No. With faith means with some urgency, with some trust, attachment and devotion, and thus becomes engaged in transcendental service of the Lord. This path is recommended in this chapter. Therefore, there is no doubt that devotional service is the only absolute for self-realization. So, bhakti is the way to be self-realized, Atma Sakshatkar. This chapter proves it. Proves it in the sense Krishna says this is the way for the attainment of Supreme Personality. The impersonal conception of absolute truth is recommended only up to the time one surrenders himself for self-realization. That also is for till self-realization only, but after that one has to come to devotional service. In other words, as long as one does not have a chance to associate with a pure devotee, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. In the impersonal conception of absolute truth, one works without fruitive results. Okay, he works selflessly, meditates, cultivates knowledge, understands spirit and matter. This is necessary as long as one is not in association of pure devotee. Fortunately, if one develops directly a desire to engage in Krishna consciousness in pure devotional service, he does not need to undergo step-by-step improvement in self-realization. So bhakti automatically does this step-by-step improvement. It automatically does. Devotional service, as described in the middle 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, is more congenial, is more easy to do. Pleasant. Is more easy to do. It's done with joy. One need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together, because by the grace of Lord, everything is carried out automatically. A bhakti yoga, one who's in this process, right? Krishna takes care of him. We have LIC's LIC uses this verse, right? Yoga kshemya vahamyam. Where it is? It's somewhere here written, right? Yoga kshemya vahamyam. This verse is from Bhagavad Gita. And I guess it is in 9th chapter. Yoga kshemya vahamyam. It's why it says LIC, LIC. Actually, it is. It's
From
is
Bhagavad
in the
Gita.
Gita. 9.22. We read this. 9.22. अनन्यश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जन परिपाशते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेम्य वहम्यहम्. अनन्यश्चिन्तयन्तो मां. Chinta. This word chinta. Chintana. So chintana of without any or any other object. One is doing mam means Krishna. One is doing chintan of Krishna. To him, what does Krishna do? To them, I carry what they lack. So if they lack something, I will give. And I preserve what they have. If they have something, I will preserve. So LIC picked up this verse, Yogakshamya Vahamyam. But actually, it is for the family, right? You're doing everything for the family. So after you go, your family will be taken care.
Yes.
So
Yes.
their mention is like that. Krishna is saying, you do devotional service, right now I will do this.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the thing. Right now I will do this.
When you're alive. Okay.
Now here Krishna says, I carry, I preserve.
Yeah.
Aham. So one Acharya said, why the Supreme Lord, why Paramatma, why, no, not Paramatma, why Paramishwara, why Paramishwara should do this? He can do it through his agency, no? So he thought maybe this aham is wrong, so he scratched it. And then what happened is, he went to take bath. And, two boys came. One was black in color, one was white in color. And they came to his house, his wife was there. And they told his wife, we have brought rice and other things for you because your husband needs this. And she said, yeah, we need it. And they were putting the bags down. Then she saw that their backs were having marks of someone has hit them. So she said, what happened? Then they said, explained that the husband had beat them because they were late. And then she was sorry, and then they went away. Then, when the husband, the Acharya, came back after bath, and he said, who brought all this? They said, two boys had come. One was black, one was white. They brought it. And then he understood it was Krishna. So he went and he looked where he had scratched, and that scratch had gone away. So the story is Krishna does it himself. Aham. To whom he does it? To his Ananya Chintayanta Mam Bhakta. Draupadi, he personally came to what she lacked. She lacked the strength of the human, of the man. And who was pulling her sari? Dushasana. He had strength of 10,000 elephant. So definitely she lacked that strength, right? So Krishna gave her that strength through the sari. First of all, it is difficult to tire one elephant. Okay. Now he tired a person who is having strength of 10,000 elephants, meaning 10,000 elephants when they are getting tired by so much of work, that much of sari came out.
Yes.
And I preserve what they have. And her respect he preserved. Like that. Because she had exclusive devotion to Krishna. And she always meditated on Krishna. Okay. So with this, we will stop today. Any questions or comments? Anyone has any questions or comments?
No, Prabhu.
Any questions?
No, Prabhu.
No. Okay. So we'll stop.